Hi and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits, and today is Wednesday, April 29th, 2020. This is episode 354. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more episode, and if you're new, I hope you enjoy the episode and you'll come back in the future. As per usual, when no one is in the house and I start talking to a camera, the dogs want to know what's going on. So they are a hot mess, as are probably most dogs and humans who, actually have hair. They need groomed really badly, but Andy and my sister love when he gets this bangs look going. This is Ernest, our Yorkshire Terrier, and he will be turning 10 this summer, we just realized. So he is getting a little older. He actually had to go to the vet in the past 2 weeks because we noticed one morning he was just not himself. He was very depressed, and he was not putting any weight on one of his front legs. He was sitting very much to the side, and he just had that kind of downward look, and he'd be looking up at you, just puppy dog eyes. And so we decided to take him into the vet, and Andy took him in, and they kept him overnight, and they did some blood work and some x-rays and whatever, and they said that he has some sort of nerve issue in his neck, but that he wasn't in any pain that they could tell. And we thought maybe he jumps down very hard from places. He's not a soft lander. They said that that's not the issue. However, that can cause problems with his joints as he gets older. But they thought it might be under like a pinched nerve type of thing, and that it would hopefully work itself out. We think it pretty much has. He's on an anti-inflammatory and pain med. But this is the paw, isn't it? And I knew something was up because we have to wipe down their paws when the backyard's wet. And if I even just, put a little pressure on this paw, he was whimpering before we took him in. So he's all good. For those of you worried, he's doing okay. He's just getting older. So we ended up buying a ramp so that they can jump up and jump down from the couch. So it more helps Cornelius, I think, because he's a little more stout and tubbers. So Corn Dog is now laying down under the tripod. But you guys haven't seen him for a while, so let me see if I can grab him. Come here, bud. Oh, he just goes dead weight. Ugh. This is Cornelius, affectionately known as Corn Dog. He is a Karen Terrier. He is not a Westie. A lot of people think he's a Westie online, but he is a Karen Terrier. And he is a Toto, but golden. So, again, it's wet out here, so they get kind of greasy, and then they go out in the humidity, and he just needs a floof. He needs a washing and a floof. Don't you, bud? But he's our little tubbers. Yeah, I know. No. He's our lover. So Ernest is our little worrier. He's actually on doggy Prozac because he has separation anxiety issues and he's very anxious all the time. This one, he has a fierce growl, but then he's a lover and he just will love on you. He's my little teddy bear. Anyway, you didn't come here for dogs, did you? But for those of you who enjoy dogs, there you go. You got a little doggy cameo. You haven't seen them in a while. So anyway, what else has been going on for the past 2 weeks? Pretty much nothing except work. I'm starting to go a little stir crazy, and here in Illinois, I live in central Illinois, literally smack dab in the middle of the state. They have extended our shelter in place until the end of May. We have not even hit May 1st yet, so we have a whole nother month of this. And I have crafting to keep me busy. I take naps almost every day. I still get to go to work and go to our studio, which is, for those of you who are worried, it's not open to the public, and it's literally 3 blocks down the street. So we drive there, we drive home, we don't see anybody other than the post office. But and there is a whole routine at the post office, and everybody wears masks and all that stuff. So but I get to get out of the house, and I'm still just like... So, for those of you who are really legit quarantined, I'm so sorry. And for those of us, well, you wouldn't be watching this, but for those people who do not have a hobby, and I'm still devouring Netflix shows and TV shows and stuff. And anyway, y'all are feeling the same pain as me, so. Oh, whatever. Okay, so, yeah, other than the little doggy issue, nothing really new. Just more cancellations of shows, so that's even more time that we're going to be not traveling. But, you know, you all are supporting us online, so that's keeping us busy. And surprisingly enough, many stores are hosting virtual trunk shows of our yarns and still placing orders and doing online orders and things. So we've actually been, knock on wood, okay. But, you know, that can change at any moment. So anyway, let's get to what you're here for, which is all the crafting, shall we? All right, so I have, taking a bow this week, I have 2 items, and neither one is knit. So, last episode, you might have recalled that I was kind of getting back on the crochet bandwagon. So I just made like a second cup on top of what I already had for my first cup. So it's full, and I'm gonna slurp. And Ernest now thinks that slurping means somebody is going to attack from the outside. Anyway, so I was like, I'm going to crochet a shawl. So, yeah, I have crocheted not 1, but 2 shawls, and I'm on my 3rd. So I started off at 8 years old crocheting. I've always known that crocheting goes much quicker, but I never really, once I learned to knit, I never, for the most part, cared for the aesthetic of crochet. I know there are beautiful things out there now, and things have changed a long ways since I've even started knitting. But I really enjoy these simple triangular shawls. The pattern is called My First Triangle Shawl, and it's by Lindsay Dale. Sorry, my show notes are over here, so you're going to see me looking. And our local Walmart went out of business. They closed the store, what has it been now? Almost a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And when I went in and they were doing like a clearance of 25% off of everything, I bought a bunch of Lion Brand mandala to learn to weave with on my rigid heddle, which I'm giving weaving a break right now. But I had like 8 or 9 skeins of this mandala. And so I broke one out and I decided to try crocheting this first triangle shawl pattern. And I whipped this out really quick. So this is the one you saw last episode. The mandala is like a DK weight, and it is 590 yards. I think it's 200 grams. So here's the first one. This is in the Sphinx colorway. And this is just done with a simple double crochet. And so I need to get some modeled shots. And I'm actually gonna, because it's such a simple pattern, I am going to list these up on the online store. And I'll try to tilt this a little bit so you can see. Hopefully my phone does not fall out of the tripod. And this is 100% acrylic, so it's machine washable, machine dryable. But it did block out, so you know, you do want to lay it flat to dry if you do work with acrylic. It still can keep somewhat of its shape. It's not going to grow or maintain a rigid blocking like wool, but it still can maintain its shape. I do know that a lot of people are going to steam blocking these days. We have never done that, where you take an iron or a steamer, especially if you're going to take an iron. Do not go any closer than 3, 4, 5 inches to it. I've heard horror stories of people melting their yarn, because acrylic is plastic, it is a form of plastic, to their iron, or melting their project. So this is the Sphinx one. This is my Sphinx shawl. It will, like I said, once I get some modeled shots, I have to have Amanda model for me because she's much prettier than I am. Then I can list these in the shop. They'll be relatively cheap. I'm just trying to find them a good home because I craft all this stuff and I don't know where to give it to. The next one is the Genie colorway, which looks like this. And I think I did this one in like 4 days. So, and there you have it. It's hard to style a shawl in a camera. Hard in general, but there we go. Hey. All right, so this is the Genie colorway again, Lion Brand Mandala. I used a size H or an 8mm hook on both of those. And let me see if I can show you the hook. No, it's, I heard my cart, the metal in my cart. So I have one of those IKEA, sorry. I hate when people do this too on their, anyway, I have one of those IKEA carts in the middle, sorry if you have earbuds. Anyway, this is my crochet hook that I'm using. This is from Wild Stitchers, which they just turned 5 years old. They were doing a giveaway, but they have some deals going on. They had an update in their Etsy shop, and this is from their interchangeable crochet set. So what you do, I want to say they're like $75, at least when I bought it. You get a set of interchangeable crochet hooks like this, and then you pick a handmade resin handle, and I love this one. So, and then they just go in there, you pick your size, put it in the handle, and you go to town. So, that is that one. So I finished 2 of these crochet shawls. Like I said, both will be in the shop soon. Boys, there's no one here. At least they don't think Andy's coming home, because if they think Andy's coming home, they both go crazy, and Corndog gets this like howling wolf howl thing going on when he knows one of us is coming home. It's quite adorable, but it's quite pathetic in the same vein. Okay, so that's what I finished. So that's just, 1,180 yards of yarn out of my stash that I hooked up in the last 2 weeks. All right, so be happy that I did not leave in that. I had to edit that out because the camera actually fell in the tripod, and it was a hot mess, and I might have squealed like a little pig, and I was like, ah. So, anyway, back to what I was talking about. My So Basic sweater by Maxim Sear. I'm knitting this out of Leading Men Fiber Arts Soliloquy, which is our 150 gram skeins of superwash Blueface Leicester wool. Comes with 657 yards, so I'm knitting this whole fingering weight sweater for my size out of 3 skeins. And I'm using the colorway Don't Fear the Reaper, which looks like this. It is a dark charcoal. And I am alternating skeins using the helical method of knitting. And so I started off with 2 skeins, and here's a little bit of a trick. So you start off with 2 full skeins. When you're about halfway through both the skeins, you want to break off one skein and start your next one. So that way you're never, you're not finishing 2 skeins and then starting 2 new ones. You're finishing, you break off one skein and then you're starting, and you're always kind of alternating your new skeins in rather than, 2 brand new skeins. So I worked on this last night, and I believe I am at about 9 3/4 inches from the underarm. So this is a basic top-down raglan. The only feature to it is that the sleeves have a slight ribbing detail. But yeah, so it's going. I like my sweaters to be 18 inches from the underarm to the bottom. So this has 2 inches of ribbing at the bottom, so I will go till 16 inches, and then I will do the ribbing. And that's knit on a size 3 and 4 US, 3.25 and 3.5, 3 for the ribbing, 4 for the body. Next up for me is my Faraway Dreams. This is by Joji Locatelli, using Leading Men Fiber Arts Monologue, which is our single ply fingering weight, which is 65% superwash merino, 20% silk, 15% yak. And I finished the main garter stitch body, and I've picked up all around the shawl. So I'm really not going to be able to show you that much because I've joined 2 cables together to fit this on the needles, but there's well over 600 stitches on the needle right now. And my rows know that because they take forever. But the main body is going to be Tranquil. And again, this is much more muted than Tranquil normally is, but that's because Monologue has the yak, which is a gray-brown when we dye it. So all of our colors look very different on this base compared to normal. My contrasting color is Stretch Your Stuff. And I've just started the Stretch Your Stuff in there, and it does a little bit of garter around the edging, some garter stripes, and then there'll be some lace in the Stretch Your Stuff. So yeah, it's going. I can't show you much more because I'm literally, you can see how many stitches are on the needle. So yeah, I'll be working on that today. That's today's project. I tend to either rotate through my projects like throughout the day, or I just focus on one project per day anymore since I get to craft for a decent amount of time most days. And that's knit on a size 6 US 4mm needle. Next up are my self-striping socks on the go, and these are the Vera socks. The yarn is the Loopy U self striping series in the Vera colorway. I do not believe they ever went into production with this. We got this at a Spring Fling retreat. And then my coordinating color is for Cuffs, Heels, and Toes is Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper Mini Skein in the Vengeance colorway. And I'm knitting these for Andy's mom for Mother's Day, so hopefully I get them done in time. Here is the second sock. And I'm knitting these on size 1 US 2.25mm needles. And I've gone down the stitch count and the row counts for since I'm knitting this a woman's sock. I do have her shoe size, so I believe I went to what she needs. But this is the first sock, done and done. So that's where we are. Just going around on that. And then I am crocheting another triangle shawl. This one is my unicorn shawl. And this is what it looks like so far. It's real exciting. This is another Lion Brand mandala. And this is the unicorn colorway. So I have all these laid out on the bed upstairs in the spare bedroom, and I had Andy pick which one I should do next, and he picked this one. That's being hooked up, again on a size 8mm H crochet hook. All right, I am not going to show you my granny square blanket. I am close to finishing my next row, but I have 2 more squares to do. So I will show that to you next episode. Moving right along, in rehearsal, what am I going to be casting on? I don't have anything immediately. Other than probably a new pair of self-striping socks, but I'll show you that next time. Other than that, I don't have any plans. Behind the scenes, my spinning, I've actually been doing a lot of spinning as well because I'm home. And so I finished the Apothecary Fabrications Fine Merino Wool in the Andy's Pick colorway. He picked this up, or selected this at the 2017 YarnCon. And here it is. Sorry, getting kind of a shadow. I got my lights set up. I have like little overhang lights that I got from IKEA when I bought this shelving unit. Finally got them set up. I turned off the middle one because it was giving me serious glow dome. So this will be up in the shops probably tomorrow or Friday. This is 290 yards of a 2-ply DK Sport. You know, I'm going to say DK, but 290 yards I got from 4 ounces. This is a fractal spin. Love the colors in this. So that's that. And then I am already on the second 2 ounces of some Three Waters Farm Falkland wool in the Spring Spirit colorway. This was back when I was in their fiber club, but once I got to like 16 braids of fiber I hadn't spun yet, I took a break and canceled the club. So still working through those, but I did finish the, let's see if I can show it here. I got a bunch of stuff precariously stacked over here. This is the first 2 ounces. All you can see is purple, but there are lots of colors underneath there. Blues, greens. But I should probably have that done next episode, so you'll see a finished skein of yarn then as well. All right, let's move into the scene shop. My other crafting. Currently, I am only cross-stitching. I am working on a Heaven and Earth Designs called One for Sorrow. Stephanie Pugh Moon Law is the artist behind the artwork. Here is what it will look like finished. And I finished page 2. If you do not know, full coverage takes a very long time. And I started this in May, almost a year ago now, and I've got 2 pages done. But I am working my way in through page 3. And there you go. I can't really see what you're seeing, but my stitching is not the best, but I'm learning. And yeah, so you can see here side by side. Yeah, that's probably better. Where we're at. So this is being done 2 over 1 half stitch on 25 count easy count Lugana. So it's gridded out, and since it's full coverage, you won't see it. So that's going. I've been enjoying kind of working on that and seeing the progress as of late. All right, let's talk about what we're watching and reading. So Andy and I finished 100 Humans while we have dinner. It was an interesting show. Again, I wouldn't binge watch it, but it was really nice to kind of get 15 minutes every night while we were having dinner. Basically, the premise is they bring in 100 humans and they run a series of tests and experiments to kind of give a very, very, very not scientifically proven results to their hypotheses. So it was interesting though. So I definitely say, give it a shot, give it an episode or 2, see if it strikes your fancy. I then gave in and I watched The Tiger King. So my mom originally watched it when it first came out and texted Andy to tell Andy that he would love it. Andy then watched it and was like, you should watch it. And I was like, And my sister's like, I already know about it. So she's like, I'm not watching it. But then everybody and their mother is making some sort of reference to it. And I have no idea what they're talking about. I didn't know anything about the story. So I gave in and watched it, and it is a train wreck you just cannot look away from. Sorry, my collar's bothering me. So I will say trigger warnings to animal cruelty, human cruelty, abuse, drug use, gun violence. There's a lot going on there. And if anything, I can thank the show for bringing to the forefront the type of environments and the type of people and that are running these establishments, and how I hope that not only will I not, but that I hope no one will go and support these small privately funded zoos and things of that nature. So Andy and I did watch the additional episode that was interviews with people. How so many people are not behind bars, I don't know. I'm waiting to hopefully see more justice being served, but So that was a documentary. Andy and I also watched another documentary that came out a while ago that was big for a hot minute, and I'm going to cuss here, so it is in the title. If you don't like cussing, earmuffs for a second, or if you have children. So the documentary is called Don't Fuck with Cats, and I found this one really interesting. So the subtitle is Hunting an Internet Killer, and basically there was a boy, essentially, a man who had posted a YouTube video of killing cats online, suffocating them. They do not show it on the documentary. They do not show the actual death. So that was the big thing. Andy was like, I don't want to watch this if, da-da-da-da-da. They do not show that. So just fair warning. But it does deal with animal cruelty. So it gets posted onto YouTube, and all these internet sleuths start investigating who this guy is. And it just grows from there. And the videos keep progressing and things keep getting worse with animal cruelty. And then eventually he does kill someone on video and post it and then goes on the run. And it just is... It was a fascinating story of how all this came together and how people were working together to find this sick individual. But then in the end, you have to wonder if them pursuing him led him to do the acts that he did and give him the notoriety and the attention he was seeking. So it's kind of this meta, is technology and is the internet as great as, a thing that you think it is? So that was only a 3-episode series, three 1-hour episodes. So I fairly enjoyed that as in terms of thinking and true crime and things of that nature. Andy and I are almost done. We have 1 episode left, so that's why I'm talking about this show, which is on HBO. We get it through Amazon Prime. It's called Hunters, and it stars Al Pacino, as well as several other faces and names you may know. The lead character is the kid who is in the Percy Jackson movies. But the premise is it's set in the 1970s, 73 to be specific, in New York, and there is slowly coming to light that there are Nazis in America. And that after the war, the U.S. government essentially brought over these Nazis and hid them in America to take advantage of their intelligence, their weaponry, their what have you. And there is the secret band of Jews who are hunting the Nazis because it is, overlooked and brushed under the rug and conspiracies and all this. It is very, very good. I highly recommend it. They work in a lot of fiction, but it also brings in some reality. They bring in it was actually on the day Andy was born, which that's how he knows about this, but the lights went out in New York, which was July 13th, 1977. Not 73, did I say 73? 77. July 13th, 77. They worked that into the whole plot, and really enjoyed that show. So that's Hunters. And then I finished a book, but I'm not going to recommend it, but I'm going to tell you to stay away from it. It is called Dead by Midnight by Beverly Barton. This is the first of a Dead by trilogy, but it's like the 11th in a Powell series, I guess, as Powell is a private investigating agency in this book. But basically the premise of the book is that there is a woman who moves back to her hometown in Alabama after living in LA and trying to make it big for about a decade. She did not make it big. In fact, she ended up posing in Playboy and doing a porno film, and so her reputation is completely ruined. The sheriff of the town is her ex-fiance, ex-boyfriend, and who despises her because she left him and ruined his reputation and her reputation. Anyway, it has now been almost a decade after that, and she is being, the actors in this porno movie are being killed off one by one by some sort of killer. And so they eventually realize that her life is in danger, and so this investigative Powell agency gets involved, but also then her ex gets involved, and I don't know. It seemed very male chauvinistic to me, very, I didn't care for the relationship between the two of them. It was very hot and cold, and he talked down to her all the time in the way he hated her but loved her, and I just didn't care for it. I don't know. It seemed like the author was trying to play very stereotypical Southern, Deep South, male chauvinistic. But it was supposed to be endearing, and it made my skin crawl, to be honest. And yeah, I don't know. It was just weird. I didn't care for it. I gave it 2 stars. I finished it, but it took me a long time to get through it too. So, all right, stash enhancement. I did do a little stash enhancement. I have some with me, and I have some that I should be able to show you next episode. Andy and I have several really good friends in the fiber industry. We've gained really, really good, fabulous friends. Some that we, even call as close to friends as family. And there are quite a few vendors out there and fiber artists that this is right now, fiber is their sole source of income. They don't have a partner or a husband or wife or significant other that also has a job. Like Andy and I, we are fully self-employed by Leading Men Fiber Arts. We also employ my sister full-time. We had to cut our hours for several weeks. We are now able to bring her back to full-time, but we had no choice. We didn't know where things were going to go. And, she still knows that may still come again. We don't know. But little by little, there's a few people that I know of that could really use the support. And so, if I can, I want to support some of my friends that can use the support just as much as I can. And so by not only just purchasing from them, I'm supporting them, but also being able to show you on the podcast and be like, hey, yes, Leading Men Fiber Arts, I'm going to say we need the support as well, but maybe also go check out some of these other fabulous vendors who could use it as well. And so I purchased some yarn from Knit Spin Farm. Joanna and Bill are wonderful people, and they are a fully sustainable farm. So, and they live in Indiana, and they do yarn, self-striping yarn, as well as a little bit of fiber and fiber processing. And they also do a farmer's market. That's where their income comes from. And who knows if that farmer's market is going to open up, when it will open up. They do amazing bread and noodles and just really awesome people. And so I wanted to support them. And so they had an update, which I got there like a day after the update, and there was almost nothing left, but I'm sure there'll be more. But this was there, and I was like, you know what? I like it. It's definitely gender neutral. This is on her their Targhee fingering, which is 90% superwash Targhee, 10% nylon, 4 ounces, 115 grams, 466 yards. And I also purchased a mini skein to go with it for cuffs, heels, and toes. And this is in the colorway Loafing Around. So this features thick and thin stripes of olive oil, brioche, sourdough, cranberry, spelt, and pumpernickel. So I've had her cranberry bread. We've had, have we had their brioche? I think I've had their brioche. And I think we've had their sourdough. So we do a trunk show in Zionsville at the Village Yarn Company. Usually, we did one earlier this year, and usually we do one in the summer. But when we get to do it in the summer, when the farmer's market is there. We usually go there and we get some noodles and some bread. However, we're not going this summer. We're limiting our trunk shows to once per year anymore to give more shops an opportunity to host us. So I don't think we'll see them this year, but we did get to see them earlier this year, right before all the shelters in places went into place. So, all right, we have a giveaway this episode. I pulled from our donation cabinet, and I have a skein of Willow Yarns Quest in the pink cockatoo colorway. Cockatoo. This is 462 yards of a 50% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 25% bamboo. So this would be really good for warmer weather places. So you can definitely knit socks or anything out of it. To be eligible to win this skein, you need to go over to the Dramatic Knits video podcast group on Ravelry. You must be a part of the group, and you must post a answer to this episode's prompt, which is, what was the most unsettling film you've ever seen? So unsettling film. I thought about this, and I originally had one that I was like, oh, that was so unsettling. And then I was like, nope, there was one that I could not finish. And that was, I believe it was called Train Spotting. I don't remember anything about the movie except there was drug use and infant death. And I was like, nope, I was done. So that was very unsettling to me. But, unsettling can mean a lot of different things. That was one that I just couldn't do. But unsettling can also be, eye-opening, like Tiger King, which I'm sure some of you will put. Just eye-opening and, not knowing that maybe some of these things were going on, or you didn't know the extent that these things were going on. Last episode, let's move into a round of applause. We were giving away a copy of Last Minute Knitted Gifts by Joelle Hoverson. And the prompt last episode was, what is the most useful app on your phone? And the random number generator selected number 15, who is Seth B. And that is Seth from Kentucky. He's been very lucky as of late, winning a lot of our weekly or episode giveaways. So congratulations, Seth. He said his Reminders app is for sure his most useful app. He said, it's hard to imagine life before smartphones. How sad. I know I probably don't use them as much as I should, but I've definitely got into, hey, SIRI, I don't want to say it because then it'll come up. Remind me, blah, 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 blah. That way I don't even have to open up the phone or open up the app. I can just speak it to remind me to do that. So congratulations, Seth. I will look and see if I can find your address, but as always, if you see this, shoot me your name, mailing address, and email address, and I'll get that out to you as soon as I can. All right, I want to remind you to post anything you finish in the month of April into our April 2020 Race to the Finished Object contest. We will have a prize from our prize pool as well as a pattern from our featured designer, who is Shayna S. Cohen of Shayna Lines Designs. And you have one more day to get into April's, and then if you finish anything in May, I will have a May thread open. Again, Shayna is our featured designer in May as well. Speaking of Shayna Lines Designs, we have the Shayna Lines Designs knit along going on while she's being featured, so that runs until July 31st. Anything you knit by Shayna Lines Designs, you can post a picture of in the Shayna Lines Designs knit along thread in the Dramatic Knits video podcast group. As many objects as you knit, you can post each separately. That gets you an entry in the drawing. We will pull a winner every month and then do a grand prize at the end. And if you want to if you need to purchase any of Shayna's patterns, you can use the code DRAMATIC, all lowercase, to get 20% off any of her patterns in her Ravelry store. All right, let's move on to center stage, all things Leading Men Fiber Arts. So May is coming up on Friday, May 1st, and we have a new colorway coming out, and I'm super excited for this colorway this month. It is called Flamingo Lingo. So here it is on our DK weight base. It is one of our massage speckles, and it features a mauve, a ballerina pink, and then a blips of like a cayenne red. And here it is balled up. This is left over from my swatch that I knit. And then here is the swatch somewhere. Here it is. So this is knit flat on our worsted weight. And pre-orders will be up for this on Friday, and they will be up through May 8th. You'll be able to pre-order this on every one of our yarn bases as much as you would like. And we will also have sock sets, Classic, which is a full 100 gram skein with a 20 gram mini, as well as shorty sock sets, which are 50 gram skeins with a 20 gram mini. And this comes with our Vengeance colorway. So that same colorway that I'm using for my cuff heel and toe on my self-striping socks, that's what will come with this. I also did create a new semi-solid colorway. I'm sorry, I'm not used to talking this much. A new one this month. And this does not contrast with it, but it does coordinate. This is called Oink Oink, and it is very similar. It just doesn't have the speckles. It's in fact all the same dyes put into a semi-solid. And so this is Oink Oink, which is going to be a new semi-solid. This will not be out for pre-order, but you can custom order it, and it will slowly make its way into the shop. I am slowly getting the, see, it blows out the color if I come too close. That's true. Slowly getting the swatch knit up on this. So Oink Oink, but our new colorway for the month is Flamingo Lingo. So check that out starting Friday. And then what else? If you have not and you are interested, we will always be accepting signups for our Cast of Characters mini skein yarn club. Our first shipment went out this month and people seemed very excited. They love the idea of collecting all of our colorways, and I know one person is doing a little bit of a swatch with them so that they can swatch, but then they can also work it into a blanket project. Another person is just happy to have them to be able to draw from when they're trying to do color pairing in person, and they know that they can always go to us, and we are, for the most part, fairly consistent on most of our colorways. Again, all things being said, we are a hand-dyed yarn company, and variances do happen. But if you go to the main page of our website, leadingmenfiberarts.com, and scroll down, you'll see Cast of Characters sign up. Click on that picture, and it'll take you right to the sign-up form. Invoices go out on the 10th of every month. However, if you sign up by the 17th, you will get an invoice for that month. And then you have to pay by the 17th, and then orders will ship out no later than the 24th. If you sign up past the 17th of a month, you will then be invoiced on the 10th of the next month. And those of you that have signed up, you will be invoiced every 10th of every month until you cancel or put your subscription on hold. And all you have to do is shoot us a quick email at leadingmenfiberarts@gmail.com to let us know, and we will either cancel or put your subscription on hold, whatever you would like. We have a number of knit-alongs coming to an end here tomorrow. The first is the Be Anything shawl knit-along. I think we have 2, if not 3, shawls in that right now. The Coincide Cowl knit-along ends tomorrow. We have a good handful of those, probably 12 or 13. And the easiest cabled hat knit along ends tomorrow as well. And there's probably about 10 of those. So thank you to everyone who joined along. You guys love the accessories, so that's really good. But I try to do bigger, medium-sized, and smaller projects. I gauge the timeline by that, and the price also is gauged by that, the gift certificate value. So those 3 are ending tomorrow. Continuing on, I extended the deadline of the Pearl Code cardigan knit along until May 31st because we had a lot of people join later on. And I actually brought that as the sample of the episode. So we got this in a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And this is the Pearl Code cardigan by Isabel Kramer, knit in our soliloquy base, which is the 100% superwash Blueface Leicester wool, in the rusted colorway. Now this is the colorway she originally used, and we did a bigger size. This is the biggest size you can knit out of 3 skeins. Now the sizes do go up fairly large, and you can, I think, knit all sizes out of 4 skeins. This is the size 7, which is a 57.25 inch bust. It's meant to have 2 to 6 inches of positive ease to it. And the yardage requirement is a 1,115 all the way up to 2,133 yards of fingering weight. And what's really cool about the Pearl Code, so she has the Pearl Code sweater, which is a pullover. This is the cardigan, which our sample knitter was amazing and picked out the buttons and put them on for me because I totally didn't even think about that. And I really wouldn't have wanted to button shop, let alone put them on. These are coconut buttons. So you can see the purling that happens in it, and you pick a rhythm to putting in your pearls. And so some people were doing amazing things like writing their mother's name into it, and then using the words in the alphabet from her favorite poem. And some people were doing, starting off with the first pages of a book that they love. Some people were taking a nursery rhyme that they used to say to their children. So it's random, but yet there's a code to it that you choose. And I think that's really cool. So what's awesome is I think this size will fit my sister, and we need to get her to model it as well. And yeah, so this is the knit along that's going on for another month. And speaking of the rusted colorway, we have a fear that our dye company has discontinued this color. They do that from time to time, and this one, I know they've had issues with it, not doing exactly what they want to do, but we've been able to maintain it. It has lighter and darker spots in it, and it takes some finagling to get it to work well, but we think they've discontinued it. It is no longer on their website, so we need to contact them. But if that is the case, rusted is going to go away, and we are going to be looking for a new substitute from other dye suppliers, but nothing's going to be exactly the same. So we are going to reach out and see if the dye company has a solution to like the perfect mix combo to make this. If not, unfortunately, rusted is going to have to go away, and we're going to have to, bring out some new semi-solids. So there are colors out there with over 200 colors. We're at 205 colors now, I think. Granted, we will be discontinuing some. As we're going to go through the Cast of Characters Mini Skein Yarn Club, there are some that we just don't dye much anymore, or that aren't big sellers that we will start discontinuing. But rusted is a favorite of mine, and I'm going to be really sad if we can't find a good replacement. All right. New knit-alongs. So I'm going to have to insert some pictures here, but the first new knit-along that's going to start on Friday, May 1st, and go through June 30th, it's a 2-month knit-along, is the Shells and Stripes Infinity Scarf knit-along. This is a free pattern on Ravelry that was published recently by Brownie Knits, and so no cost to get the pattern. It takes 2 skeins of our showstopper as well as 1 skein of our intermission, our 50-gram set. So you need 250 gram grams of yarn, and it is a infinity scarf tube knit in the round and then Kitchenered, and it has some lace and then as well as some striping and some garter mixed in there as well. So we have set up a discount code for our showstopper and intermission bases in the knit along thread, which will be linked in the show notes, or you can find in the thread in the Leading Men Fiber Arts Ravelry group. Again, the time frame is going to be May 1st through June 30th. The grand prize is going to be a $50 gift certificate to Leading Men Fiber Arts shop. And then the second prize will be 3 winners will win a pattern of their choice by Brownie Knits, which she generously donated to the knit along, so thank you. We also have curated yarn sets in the 2 color combos she originally used, which the first one is Bent Neck Lady with Raspberry Parfait, and the second is Poseidon with Blue Ink. Those sets will be listed online by the 1st, and there will also be a coupon code. The same coupon code should work for those sets as well, and that'll get you 15% off, but I do ask that you go to the Ravelry thread to find that coupon code. So I'm going to insert both of those pictures here. And then, so we're super excited about that. In fact, one of our yarn shops in Minnesota has bought a bunch of yarn sets, and they are going to be joining the knit along as well. Our next knit along is the Little Moments Sock Knit Along by Lisa K. Ross, also known as Paper Daisy Creations. Little Moments is one of 4 sock patterns that was from her Socks of the Office collection that came out this month. She is doing her own knit along with all of the socks through the end of May, and I believe you only have to knit 1 sock. However, Little Moments features our showstopper base, and so we are going to host a knit along from May 1st through June 30th with the Little Moments pattern. And there will be a coupon code in the Ravelry thread, which is already posted, which will get you 15% off of the showstopper base as well. And you do need to finish both socks to be entered for the drawing. And if you need to purchase the pattern, right now she has a great deal going on through the end of April. You can get all 4 patterns from the Socks of the Office for $5 using the coupon code OFFICE. But that expires tomorrow. So if you don't see this for a little bit, but you still want to purchase the Little Moments pattern, you can get that for 50% off through the end of May using the code Leading Men, all one word, all capital letters. That'll get you 50% off, which I believe it'll be $5 normally. So you'll get the pattern for $2.50. And then you can also get a discount on our showstopper yarn base to knit the socks in. Now, all of our knit-alongs in the Leading Men Fiber Arts group, works in progress, are welcome. You must use some Leading Men Fiber Arts in your project. It does not have to be completely Leading Men Fiber Arts, but some of the yarn in there needs to be Leading Men, and it needs to be documented on your project page. So the yarns listed, one of the yarns needs to be ours. The prize for the Little Moments Sock Knit Along, the grand prize is going to be another $50 gift certificate to our shop. We have a second prize, which is an ebook sock collection of your choice from Lisa. And then we will have 5 third place winners who will win an individual pattern of their choice from Lisa as well. So thank you to Lisa Ross for donating patterns to our knit along as well. All right, I showed you our new sample. Upcoming shows, again, everything is canceled due to shelter in place. We still technically have a trunk show on the books this month up in Michigan, but I don't believe they're going to open up their state either. So I'm pretty sure that is canceled. This weekend we were supposed to be in Colorado at Interweave Yarn Fest. That is not happening. In fact, not really happy with them at the moment. They have not issued refunds yet and are playing around, but I don't want to start any drama. I'm not going to go into much detail other than that. And then next weekend was supposed to be Shepherd's Harvest in Minnesota. So both of those shows were good to us, and we unfortunately won't see those people. So if you are hoping to attend Interweave Yarn Fest or Shepherd's Harvest, we ask that you please head on over to the online store, leadingmenfiberarts.com. We have everything from yarn, kits, patterns, project bags, pom-poms, accessories, tools, anything your heart could desire. And don't forget, we are currently running, while we are in shelter in place and not having shows to go to, we are currently doing free domestic shipping on all orders over $10. So there's that. And your coupon codes are also willing to work. Since that's not a coupon code, it just happens. You can also use coupon codes on top of that. All right, that is it. So I thank you so much for tuning in this week, and I hope you're keeping your spirits high. It's a trying time, but you know what? We will be able to look back on this and think how much we had to not only come together as a community by staying apart, as odd as that sounds, but how much we had to do some, introspective soul searching to stay positive and to, just reach out to people and tell them, hey, I'm here. Let's talk, let's communicate, let's be there for each other at a distance, and we'll get through this. As much as it's hard, even for me, we will get through this one way or another. Things may not be the same, but you know what? We'll be here. So until I see you again in 2 weeks, I hope you make something dramatic.